Hump day, everybody. Thanks for starting it off with us right here on Undisputed. I'm Jen Hale. That's Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, gentlemen. How are we today?
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, at least your Lakers don't have to worry about my Clippers anymore because Russ took care of them.
Don't do that.
Russ took care of them. They are no longer a factor. So that's the one team you don't have to worry about climbing over because they're about to climb under you.
No, you know what's good about? I miss Steve Ballmer on the.
Yeah, he's not doing that anymore.
What happened?
Yeah, he's going like this now.
Clipper Darrell. Marcelo Wilder, where y'all?
Where are you?
Yeah. On Skip Bayless, where are you?
Lost in the Russ cloud.
We're in the top floor now.
Yeah,
Y'all in
here
the
we
basement.
go. Here we go.
Are you sure about that, Skip?
Well, I told you, I first guessed it. Russ doomed the Clippers.
I know Russ did that.
You got out from under him. We got right in the middle of him.
You bought it.
Yeah,
Y'all recruited him.
I think it is an excellent suggestion. Let's start today's show right there with the Lakers. The Lakers' chances of the playoffs this year if there's no LeBron.
Not very good. They're not a very good team. Skip, it was an uphill climb even with LeBron. It's even more daunting without him. They have a .333 win percentage without LeBron. They have a .511 win percent with him. So they're over 500 with LeBron in the lineup. They're way under 500 without him. Skip, 26 turnovers, led to 41 Memphis points, which is a franchise record. They gave up 86 points in the paint. Let that sink in for just a second.
I don't know what the records are, but is that like some kind of record?
You took the word.
Yeah.
I was like, well, damn, what's the record? Because someone have actually scored. I'm sure, Skip, probably before they could shoot the ball outside like they can now, I'm sure teams, somebody got to have had 100. But I can't remember in the last 10 years that someone got this many points in the points in the paint. And then 26 turnover, 86. Help me understand. And you remember, Skip, Christmas Day, they gave up 51 points in the third quarter.
They did.
Because and granted, they were knocking at Dallas. Mm-hmm. Dallas was knocking down threes out of the yin-yang.
Out of their minds. Yep.
Come to the third quarter. Ja had 28 points. The furthest shot that he shot was 13-foot, a 13-foot floater. Mm-hmm. So at some point in time, D-Ham, are you going to trap John Morant and get the ball out of his hand, or are you going to let him keep putting you in the pick and roll and get layup after layup after layup after 3-foot, 4-foot floater after floater after floater? I'm just curious.
That's a very good question.
Because I'm like, well, damn, are you not going to do anything different? Are you just going to continuously let this man lay the ball up or let him attack you one-on-one?
Yep.
And then you see the momentum start to slip away, and they still try to push the ball. Rui Hachimura, Skip, he pushes the ball, and guess what? Tries to go through three guys and carries off one guy, goes there, gets a dunk.
That happened numerous times to a lot of people on the Lakers.
I'm watching Schroeder. He throws the ball, tries to push the ball in the AD. Bain steals it. Instead of him fouling Bain, he lets him go right past him.
Yep.
And guess what happened? D-Ham took a time. I get your butt over here.
Yep.
Because that's what you're doing. You're just watching anyway. So ain't no sense in me having you on the court. Have 5-on-4. One guy's watching, the other guys are trying to play. It was Skip that, and I thought they played well. They were playing well.
They fought hard, at least for a half. They did, because they were up 4 at half.
You give up. The score is 49-46. Skip, you gave up more points in the third quarter than you did in the first half.
Yep.
I just don't even know what to say about this. Like I said, Skip, you're right. They fought hard, and maybe if you have 13 turnovers, maybe that's a winnable game. But when you let it get out of hand like you let it get out of hand, there's nothing you can do. It's just, I just don't get it. I just don't get how can I see something, and I've never played in the NBA. How can I see the momentum start to get away from us?
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's get it all back. So let's push the ball. Turnover, lay up the other way. So it goes from a 2, it went from a 2 to a 4 to 11 point, just like that. Skip, like I said, I thought it was going to be an uphill climb even with LeBron. It's even more daunting without him.
Facts. Everything you just spat, fact upon painful fact. I agree with all of the above, but I did not expect the Lakers to win the game last night, and I doubt I would have expected them to win with LeBron. You remember last year at Memphis, they blew a big lead. LeBron had the ball at the end of the game. They're a tough team to beat at home because they got one of the best records in the NBA at home. I think they're second best at home. They're not a good road team, but they're a very good home team. So the point is, to your point, We get to the third quarter, and I tweeted at halftime, this is all about Anthony Davis, because you and I concurred yesterday. Let's see what you've got, big man. Let's see if you can carry this team without LeBron, because you've never shown in your history of being that guy who can carry that team to a championship. He's more of a complimentary star, although LeBron leaned heavily on him in the bubble to carry them to the championship, and AD was all day in those games in the bubble. He's often always disappointing. Yet last night, the numbers look pretty good. In fact, I can argue they look very good, because
19 and 5?
I'd say, and he had 5 blocks. But in the third quarter, help me out here, he wasn't having the impact on the game that a superstar would have. He was having a star's impact, but not a superstar's impact, because Darvin Ham has been calling him a new nickname of Wilt. You're Wilt Davis. That's as in Wilt Chamberlain, who put up silly numbers that we'll never see again, because he was 7 feet 1 inch tall. He was called the Big Dipper, and he just flat out toyed with everybody around him, just finger rolling and scoring ridiculous. He scored 100 points in a game.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you wanted AD to match Ja. Their star is going off. You match him shot for shot, AD.
Okay, remember, they don't have Steven Adams as we speak.
Right.
And yet they're playing 2 big guys. They're playing Xavier Tillman and, of course, Jaren Jackson Jr. And if you look at their numbers, they had 16 and 18 points, respectively. So that's 34, and they had 7 and 11 rebounds. So that's 18. So actually, they just matched.
Correct.
Okay? I wanted Anthony Davis as the player I thought was the best two-way player on the floor, because Ja's like, what do we give him, 6'1" or whatever he is, 6 feet, 6'1". But AD, what do we give AD? Is he 6'10"?
6'10".
Okay, 6'10". He's not a gigantic big man, but he is a big who plays. He can play huge.
Yes.
And I thought he could play a little huger last night to have his fingerprints all over the game. Okay, so he has 5 blocks, but you've been watching all the B-roll that we're showing right now of Ja just going whoosh, swoop to the hoop, swoop to the hoop, swoop to the hoop. He scored 30 of his, what do you have, 39? Okay, he scored 30 points in the paint.
Yes.
And it seemed like of those swoops to the hoop, 15 of them went right by Anthony Davis. Like, he did get 5 blocks, but how many times did I see AD just sort of watch? It's not like he owned the paint last night. It's not like he owned the game. On offense, he didn't own. He didn't assert himself so much on offense. And I'm asking a lot. But he is a lot.
Yeah, well, he needed more than 19 shots. You see, Ja got 29 shots up. AD got to get at least 25 up.
So where's my Darvin Ham quote about we pride ourselves? Hang on just a second. Let me get here. We pride ourselves on our shifts and activity really clogging the paint and guarding the paint well. I couldn't tell last night, right?
Yeah.
Because they're a middle-of-the-pack defensive team, and yet they wanted to force Ja to shoot the ball from distance. Well, what did he do? He went 0 for 5 from 3, and he still scored, what was it, 39? 39 points, and you go 0 for 5 from 3? It's just not good enough. 86 points in the paint is just not good enough. 41 points off 26 turnovers, it will get you beaten every time on the road.
Yes.
And by the way,
that gets you beat at home.
That will get you beaten at home. They have to turn right around. They get to play Oklahoma City, I'm assuming, without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Thunder are now reeling because their star, and he is a flat-out star, he is unavailable at the moment, and I doubt he'll be able to play tonight. So the point is, you need to turn this around on the back-to-back. It's not like you have to worry about LeBron can or can't play tonight. Well, he can't play tonight, period. He's out.
He's out.
Okay, so if you have any semblance of a hope left here, you've got to go win at Oklahoma City tonight because you're better than they are.
Skip, and AD's he's probably going to need to have a 35-25 ball game.
So you're going to
because they don't have a big. They don't have a big that can deal with him.
Okay, I got it. All right, now for me, the bigger story last night was the grand entrance that your man LeBron made at the end of the first quarter, because I wasn't sure what he was going to look like, and he comes out in one of those medical walking boots where it's all strapped up to his calf, and I think we've got it. He comes out, and he was a little limpy as he came out. He's a lot limpy. Although it's hard to walk in that to start.
You're going to be limpy. If you got one of those on, you're going to be limping anyway.
Okay, all right. So that was the first I've seen him since we saw him at Dallas, and we saw him limp to the, I guess he was going to the bus at that point.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're back to some ominous quotes from Anthony Davis, who made the case LeBron is not coming back anytime soon. That was Anthony after the game. Is not coming back anytime soon. Whew. And when I read that, I'm like, well, this is serious business, because of all the players on the team, of all the coaches, of all the front office people, if anybody knows the fate of LeBron James, I think AD would know it the best, right? He would have the best insider information this side of you, because you are in the inner circle.
Well, I think when you heard him say we're going to reassess LeBron in 2 weeks, that should have given you an indication there.
All right. So here's my. I told you yesterday, I'm a little mystified by this because I need a little more information, but it was reported that he was going to get an MRI and that he was going to get maybe a second and third opinion, and I was going to assume from experts such as podiatrists who actually deal with the feet, okay?
Yes.
And yet he stayed with, I assume he stayed with the team from Dallas to Memphis.
Right.
So he didn't return to L.A., so it's hard. I don't know that they're experts in Memphis. I don't know. Maybe they're
probably, you go get an MRI, and then you can send those images off to different people. Maybe Watkins or whomever that deals in this expertise.
Yes. I'm not even sure Watkins would be because they're all backs, as you well know.
Well, there's a guy in Charlotte that deal with feet.
But who knows? But the point is, he's still with the team, and yet now we had a Shams report as of, I don't know, it was late day yesterday, that the right foot that is now injured has been plaguing LeBron since January. Okay, timeout. I'm lost now. I'm really lost because we were told all along it was the left foot that was plaguing him. It was on past Kareem night. You were at the game. What you keep telling me? He took himself out a little early of a game that still seemed vaguely winnable. They lost to Oklahoma City, obviously. Right. But he goes over and sits down, and he took his left shoe off.
No, his right foot. It was his right shoe. He took the right foot off. He took his right shoe off.
But it was his left foot that was plaguing him because Dave McMenamin reported that, here it is, James also missed 3 consecutive games prior to the All-Star break because of left foot and ankle soreness.
Well, I mean, it might be a situation, Skip, that he was compensated. Maybe it started with the left, an overcompensation.
Right. So my point is, now we've got double jeopardy going on because I don't know if we got both feet are issues and is one, as you said, causing the other.
Yep.
Okay. Well, this is not good because now we got Bill Walton going on because Bill Walton's feet just betrayed him to the point where he just couldn't play anymore. And obviously at 6'9", whatever he is, 260.
I think Greg Oden had the same issue. Sam Bowie.
Foot. But these are taller men than LeBron.
Yeah.
Although Bill Walton was 6'11", so he's only 2 inches taller than LeBron, and he was a lot more slender than LeBron, so he wasn't carrying quite the weight.
Well, LeBron doesn't have an abnormally large foot. I mean, he's a size 14. I mean, those guys probably were 17, 18 size shoe.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, Skip.
Probably. Okay. So my issue is, how hurt is he, and is it possible he's gone for the season?
Skip, I mean, for you to say, well, how hurt is he?
No, I just need to know the how of it.
How did he get hurt?
No, how did he get hurt to start with? Because, again, he told that Katie George of ESPN after the game, I stepped on Dwight Powell's foot. Well, then that usually constitutes an ankle because it turns your right ankle. But then you look at the tape of it, he didn't step on his foot. It was the initial push-off as he drove to the basket. Something went, and then he says, I heard a pop.
Right.
You heard a pop?
Right.
And wouldn't that indicate potential surgery?
Yeah, that maybe some of the plantar fasciitis, maybe that's what it is. I mean, they're saying ankle, but it looks like, it looked like I said, when I saw him, he was rolling out the ball of his foot.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to tell. I just know that when you compensate for one thing, you overcompensate for another, and it throws the body off balance.
Okay. You've had feet injuries. I've had 1,000 foot injuries. Listen, it can be so many things. You got metatarsal issues. You can microfracture the underside of the toe bones, the metatarsal bones. You can have Achilles problems. You can have plantar fasciitis, the connective tissue underneath the foot. You can have ankle leading to sprained foot.
Yeah.
There are 1,000 things are going on, and I still, even Darvin Ham was saying, we don't want to risk further damaging whatever is going on because it's clear Darvin doesn't know what's going on. So I told you yesterday, my only issue here is I'm mystified why they're not more forthcoming about exactly what is the problem.
Well, I think the thing is with these guys, a Steph Curry, a LeBron, you're going to be as vague as possible. You're not going to be definitively saying, okay, is this ankle, is this. You're going to say it might be a foot, but you're going to say ankle. It might be a leg and lower leg. So I just think you try to be as general as possible, so the NBA doesn't say, hey, you withheld information and you get a fine. But we're not gonna give you the pinpoint of exactly what's going on with LeBron.
Okay. I'm in the dark. You're somewhat in the dark.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know.
All right.
What's going on.
But, although I thought maybe you might have heard some inside information.
No.
But the point is, he's in the boot, and it's 2 weeks before, to your point, he will even be evaluated. And I think we got left and right foot things going on that have built up over time, because that was a big push to pass Kareem. He was playing. Well, we agreed, playing at the highest level we've ever seen a 38-year-old play.
But Skip, if you think about it, the left it started out as a left earlier this year, but it was something that he could play through. So that just goes to show you how bad the right is, because he can't play. He played through. He said he hurt this left one way back early in the year.
Okay. And by the way, I'm going to say it again. It is miraculous he played through whatever the right injury is.
Yes.
On Sunday at Dallas in the fourth quarter. He scored 11 more points, and I didn't detect a limp. Like you asked me all the time about the Isaiah Thomas game. It was game 6 at the Fabulous Forum out here in L.A., and I was right in the front row watching this. Well, I saw the grapefruit-sized ankle after the game at his locker. Yeah. But the point is, he's dragging his foot through the whole game. I mean, you just knew he could barely walk. He was having a hard time walking to the sideline huddle. Right. And then he would suck it up, and the adrenaline would flow when it was time to bounce the basketball. Right. And he was scoring points. It was one of the all-time guts efforts I've ever seen.
Well, Skip, if you remember when Kobe tore his Achilles.
He did.
He walks to the free throw line. He makes the free throws. He walks off the court. That's not how he walked out of the stadium. He was on crutches.
No, I got it. But that was all he had left. and by the way, when you tear your Achilles, there's no real pain involved. No. It just doesn't. Your leg doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. It's just flopping. Okay. You can't control your foot anymore. But the point is, with LeBron, I didn't see him limp in the fourth quarter. He just powered through it. And to his point, he said, I thought we were in position to close a deal. Right. And they did. They closed a deal, and they came from 27 points down in the fourth quarter at Dallas to put themselves in position to make a run at a top, like a seed above the play-in. Right. I thought they were positioned to become the 6-5-4, right? At that point, and then we hear after the first suspicious video, we saw was him limping to the bus, and then I was like, oh, well then.
I could tell that. I mean, he just didn't have his normal gait since the game in which he broke Kareem's record. He just hasn't looked the same to me. And if you look at it, Skip, the man scored 13 points in a game. I mean, the guy was averaging. We had a stretch where he was averaging 37, 38 points a game, and all of a sudden,
the first game out of the break.
Right. And then all of a sudden but he only, he had 21, I think, going into, he didn't play the last game that he played. I think he had like 21 or something. But he didn't look the same to me. And then I watched him enough to know that's not LeBron. Okay. LeBron's not healthy.
Final quote from Anthony Davis last night. We don't want to go home early, but what I don't want is for him, meaning LeBron, to rush back really early, and it's still bothering him, and he can't be himself. Well, now it's triple jeopardy, because your best friend on the team is saying, just don't rush it. It's no big deal, but we don't want to go home early. Well, Anthony, one leads to the other. They're intertwined.
He don't come back. But here's the thing, Skip, and AD knows this. If he comes back early and he's not himself, we're going home anyway. And he runs the potential of doing more damage long term. Like I said, at some point in time, Skip, let's just say for the sake of argument, we'll reassess this thing in 2 weeks. And you look at what they've done in 2 weeks, and they've only won 2 or 3 games. Yeah. What the hell is there to come back? What am I coming back for, Skip?
It's a good question, but I need to know the circumstance. Maybe you're coming back for one big push to shock the world.
Skip, you at 13.
Okay, but the West right now just teeters everywhere. The Clippers we just talked about, they're teetering.
Yeah.
Dallas we're about to talk about next,
Right.
teetering,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Golden State is just hanging on for dear life. They've had a couple of nice wins.
They're just trying to wait for Steph to get back.
They're waiting for Steph. Will he come back, and will he be right? And will they rush him back?
Right.
It's the same issue.
Well, the one thing we know about Golden State, they don't rush nobody back.
Okay.
You hurt. You hurt. Hey, take the year off.
Okay, but I'm saying there's still some hope. But the reason I keep pushing on this is if you just told me what was wrong, then I'd say, maybe he could come back in 2 or 3 weeks. Or it's done. It's over.
Well, for me, the mere fact that they said we'll reassess it, when someone says they'll reassess it in 2 weeks, we're not going to even talk. There's nothing to talk about. There's no more imaging to be done. Let's just see in 2 weeks, we'll reconvene and see where we are. That lets me know LeBron is not even thinking about picking up a basketball. He's not thinking about putting on a gym shoe on that right foot for the next 2 weeks. And then we'll reassess it after that. I'm good. If the doctor tells me, say, Mr. Sharpe, we'll see you in 2 weeks. He don't need to say, hey, I'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll reconvene.
Okay,
He let me know the gravity of it.
Okay, but you know how doctors are. How many times have you or I been to a doctor and they said, oh, it hurts when you do that? Well, then quit doing it, right? Just quit doing it.
That's what my athletic trainer. I was like, well, it's kind of hard not to do that when I'm in a football game.
Right.
I'm going to have to get on my toes. I got to push off.
Yeah, well, you don't talk about conservative. They're arch-conservative because they don't want to get sued, right?
You're absolutely right. But I think the thing is, Skip, in a situation like this, you do realize, like, the athletes they heal a little faster because they have the best of everything. Medical, you rehab, and that's what I tell people all the time. I say it's easier for an athlete to come back because while you go to rehab twice a week, they go every single day for 3 hours a day, sometimes 6 days a week.
Yep.
So obviously, it takes you 5 months to heal.
Yep.
Imagine going 5 days, 6 days a week. They're going to flip that in 2 months. That's just how it works. I know LeBron and how much, because, Skip, you're in year 20. Skip, you don't got 10 more years to do this.
You don't. All I can say is, in the end, if I'm reading the tea leaves don't look good to me right now.
Well, somebody done made tea with those leaves, because they ain't no more good.
They're no good.
I'm curious where the Lakers' standings factor into the decision to bring LeBron James back. Are they still within striking distance in the Western Conference within 2 weeks?
Well, long as the Pelicans keep doing what they do.
Yeah, the Pelicans.
As long as the Pelicans keep doing what they do.
We're not talking about the Pelicans, Shannon.
My bad,
We're not talking about the Pelicans. We're talking about your Lakers. All right,
Nothing
gentlemen.
to talk about.
Up next.
And the Clippers, too. The Clippers, too.
Okay.
Misery loves company.
That's
we
a
all
good
miserable.
point, Shannon. Exactly.
Somebody's
We're just going to give it to each other all morning long. Let's start with Dallas when we come back, guys. Do you think Kyrie's taking Luka's job as the closer? And then, yes, indeed, Shannon, let's talk about those Clippers and that 3-game losing streak. How much of it's Russell Westbrook's fault? All that's coming up in just a moment. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.